Okay, so we are going to get started here in just about 5 minutes. This is Christine. You are here for the webinar, How to Embrace and Serve Your Clients with Thinning Hair, and we will get started in 5 minutes. It's 11:55 right now. We'll get started in 5 minutes. Hi. Okay, we're going to just start this webinar in just about a few minutes. We're just waiting for a few more people to sign on, okay? Hey, I'm Christine from Big Life Thin Hair. I'm here in Asheville, North Carolina, and we're just going to be starting in just a few minutes, okay? Thank you so much for being here on a Monday. So in just about 2 minutes, we'll get started. How are you guys doing out there today? Okay. You guys have a pen and paper handy, some water, whatever you need. Okay, we'll just start in about 1 more minute. We might have some late people sign up. Alrighty. Okay. It's 12, so to respect everybody's time, because I know everybody's time is so valuable, we're going to go ahead and get started with this webinar today. So here you are today. You are here on this webinar, which is called How to Embrace and Serve This Client with Thinning Hair, your thinning hair clients. And I would like to introduce myself to you. My name is Christine DiBenedetto. I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm a salon owner, and I've been a hairstylist for over 20 years, and I've also struggled with thinning hair. I have this in my family, and so many years ago, I started a blog called BigLifeThinHair.com just to create a place for me to kind of write down things I was feeling and ideas that I had and ways that I could be generous and share knowledge and at least find knowledge with, find out knowledge for myself about what was I going to do for my thinning hair, because the questions that our clients are asking are the same questions that I ask myself, and I'm an industry insider. So I started this blog as a way to answer these questions, and the questions were, how can I feel better? what's going on with me? Am I normal? What can I do? What can I use? And how do I help create a different paradigm, a different way of thinking about hair loss? Because I knew that I had a wonderful, great life. And I wanted to see my clients really, really lit up by having a wonderful, great life. So today we are going to talk about 3 main things when we look at embracing and serving our clients with thinning hair. And it's first, who is this person? Who is this person right now in your salon that you're working with, in your chair? Now, also, how do we turn that conversation up? How do we really begin to ramp up that conversation, take full ownership over this conversation in your salon? And how do we create trust to dollars? So, which is going to totally transform your business. And in this day and age, one of the biggest issues that we all are dealing with are these great disruptors in our industry and Amazon. And we always have all these pain points that these stylists and salon owners talk about. And this is one great way to really bring trust and an incredible business model together. So I'm going to fire hose you with a bunch of information. So if you have any questions, just please write them in the chat column. I'm the only person that can see the questions, and I already have a couple questions that came in. And so I get really excited to share this information because obviously I'm a woman with thinning hair, and I am a person that has built everything that I've done in life from the bottom to the top. So I really feel like I am an advocate for these women with thinning hair. So if you have, like I said, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat and I'll make sure that I get to them before this webinar is over. I also want to let you know that most of it or a lot of it is my original ideas. I was a sociology and anthropology major, and I thought I was going down that track in my life, but I got circumvented into the hair business because it's really, really amazing, which is why I strongly believe that we are all so capable of taking full ownership of this conversation and really helping women live amazing lives through great experiences that they have with you. So at the end of this webinar, I'm going to talk to you about the e-course that I created, which is called How to Start the Conversation of Thinning Hair, how to succeed without being an expert. And I'm going to give you a little bit more information. If you'd like further information, you can remind me also when this webinar is over that you'd like information about that, but I want to share that with you because I want you all to go out and be able to serve this population with respect and dignity and transform your salons. So let's go ahead and get right into the information that we have at hand. So who is this client with thinning hair? And a lot of times when we talk about the topic of thinning hair, we have this idea, especially if you're a salon owner and you have younger people working for you, we have this idea that these people with thinning hair are just this older segment of the population. That is completely untrue. So I'm going to focus mainly on women because I'm a woman with thinning hair and I am also an advocate for women with thinning hair. So who is this in your chair right now? Women with thinning hair are everywhere. 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 women are dealing with thinning hair. 50% of your clients in your chair are dealing with thinning hair. 80 million women deal with this issue, and it is more common than we think not. Women with thinning hair are sitting in your chair right now, and you might think that they have a really nice head of hair, or you might think, well, this client doesn't have thinning hair because I know other clients, and I can see their scalp, and I know that their hair is thinning. Well, if your client secretly inside thinks that their hair is thinning, then that client's hair is thinning. Any woman who thinks their hair is thinning, their hair is thinning. So it's really not for us to judge whether or not that person's hair is thinning. We just want to be able to provide solutions, answers, facts, separate fact from fiction, and begin to create an environment where we can unapologetically own this conversation and we can really help women begin to start planning about what they want their hair to look like. So in your chair right now, you have teens, you have women that are aging, you have women that just had babies, you have young clients that are twirling their hair and maybe creating some kind of holes or gaps in their hair. You have people who just were born with fine, thinning, limp hair. You have women that have visible scalps and maybe they're going to be ready for alternative hair solutions. You have people that are very, very visibly thinning, that are aging. It runs the gamut. This hair loss thing, it does not discriminate. Women lose their hair just like men lose their hair, except we are tasked with finding solutions and trying to camouflage this hair loss in society in a much different way than men are. And part of what happens in the salon is that we take on this topic. We are afraid to take on this topic because we're afraid to hurt people's feelings, because this is such a touchy subject. And part of the reason why this is such a touchy subject is because we have not created a normalcy around this yet. Doctors still talk to women and refer to this as male pattern baldness. They don't use enough of the term female pattern baldness. So women are constantly asking, like, if I'm losing my hair, something must be wrong with me. This can't just be a normal part of what I inherited, or this just can't be a normal part of aging. So maybe you're in the salon right now and you are only interested in balayaging hair. You know, this is really hot right now. Balayage looks beautiful. If you go on Behind the Chair, if you go on American Salon, if you go on any of our modern salon, you know, you're going to see picture after picture of these beautiful long hair balayages, this mermaid hair color. But who's to say that in 1 year from now or 2 years from now, that hot balayage, one shot, you know, that you got behind the chair isn't going to just jump into some kind of hair loss? Who's to say that all those people that are so trendy and that we're really like putting all of this emphasis and shine on in our industry in these trendy times, who's to say that something's not going to happen? Maybe some kind of traumatic event, maybe a diet change, maybe surgery, maybe a baby, or maybe just the inherited gene toward hair loss that's going to set that hot balayage Instagram girl into a hair loss mode in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years. And then what will we have to provide for that client? So the client is every single person. In your chair right now, your clients are asking you for help. You might not be able to decode the things that they're asking, but they're asking all sorts of questions from you. They're asking, well, my hair is limp. My hair won't do the things that it used to do. They're saying things like, my friend's hair is really, really thick and really beautiful. Or, oh my gosh, my mother's losing her hair, or my best friend is here. They're saying these things all the time. And instead of logically helping those people usher and adapt to the realities of thinning hair, we tend to kind of brush it off or say, like, no, I don't think your hair is thinning. How many times have you been in the salon where you have a client that maybe broached the topic of hair loss to you? And instead of saying, like, actually, I have something that can help you, or here's what I know about thinning hair, you said, you know, your hair looks good to me. And most of the time we say that strictly because we don't know what to say. So in your chair, you are a local guide all the time. I mean, hairdressers are so excited. How many times do you guys talk, if you're like after work and you're at a party or you're anywhere where you're not in your salon and you're always saying things like, well, my client this, or my client that. We're always referencing the things we know about our clients and creating this gigantic database and this local guide expertise, you know, like ask a hairdresser, who's the best insurance person in town? Do you know a lawyer for this? Oh, my friend, you know, started this weight loss program or this and that. We are such a body of knowledge about what's going on. But when it comes to the hair loss thing, it's just like, oh, we don't know what to do. Or I don't know, wigs maybe, blah, blah, blah. But there's so much amazing innovation in our industry when it comes to hair loss products, when it comes to alternative hair solutions. There is just an unbelievable amount of innovation. But what good is all of that innovation if we don't have enough progress? If it's still, at the end of the day, we can't get this topic to land back into the chair, into the salon. And we have all these amazing, amazing things. I mean, the wig industry is just doing beautiful work. We've got products that have more data than ever before. We've got great testimonials out there from people. We've got new conferences coming out all the time. But we need to take this conversation back into the salon. So who is this person? They're everywhere. What do they feel like? They feel shame. They feel embarrassed. And part of why they feel that way is because they are still living in a world where hair loss is constantly the butt of jokes. Hair loss is an insult. You can go right for the jugular. If somebody wants to really assault somebody, be like, oh, that bald person. We're constantly in a place where that person with hair loss is still very, very confused about what their place is in the world. And that's clearly something must be wrong with them, because we've not really been able to just fully own this. So I bet right now you could think of multiple people that are in your chair that you're working with that could use your help, that have asked you questions about hair loss and you just said, well, oh no, you look fine, or you didn't know what to say. And there are people in your salon that are asking you all the time for products or what you know about this. So because it's a touchy subject and because there's a lack of education around it, it's all the more reason why we really need to begin to turn up this conversation of hair loss and bring it back into the salon where it belongs. So turning up the conversation, what does that really look like? In my salon in Asheville, North Carolina, we are a mission-driven salon, and our mission is create, educate, elevate, love. And so I talk about hair loss all the time to my own staff. Part of the work that I have to do in my salon is constantly hit the refresh button on my staff. As I have talked about this topic, and I have tried to create a general awareness in my salon with all of my staff that the pain points that these women with thinning hair experience are very real. And they want answers, and they want to know from the most trusted, amazing person in their life. One of them is their hairdresser. So they're seeking the salon to provide solutions. But the conversations that are happening out there are really being dominated by the people at the bottom, and that's the women with hair loss. So women with hair loss are taking to the internet, taking to Facebook groups, taking to each other, and they're creating all of these communities online where they're getting into our business. And our business, at the end of the day, it's hair. Whether we like it or not, this is our business. This is what we went to cosmetology school. We study hair, the dead, and anything that can grow out. That's our business. But because of the lack of the conversation that's happening in the salon, the women out there are taking to the streets, not literally, but they're taking to these Facebook groups and all of these little micro populations out there that they're selling each other hair toppers. They're selling each other hair products. They're completely referencing, and they're starting their own Amazon carts, and they're doing all that all the while hairdressers are just still well, we don't want to deal with this subject. Big Life Thin Hair has 4 core concepts. The first core concept is that women live big lives through the amazing experiences they have with you. So then what does that mean? That means they are so turned on by the amazing lives that they can have because they have great experiences with you, and you usher them and you lead them and you guide them and you coach them to taking the best care of the hair they have on their head. And that's the second core concept, is that take the best care of the hair you have on your head. Most of our clients, when we talk about hair loss, and you ask them about hair loss, you say, what is the most important thing for you today? 99.9% of your clients are going to say, to take the best care of the hair I have on my head. So that's the conversation. How do we turn up the conversation? We turn up a conversation by being experts in hair. Chapter 1 or chapter 2 in beauty school. It's all about the hair, helping your client, reintroducing your client to what their hair is and what their hair is going to do. The third core concept is that there are universal themes of hair challenges. So that means we have all of these narratives about blonde hair. We have all of these narratives about African American hair. We have narratives about curly hair that we've been able to create ginormous businesses around. But the thinning hair piece still is so rooted in this touchiness because of, again, the lack of normalizing this, that it's a little bit of an outlier. So there are universal themes, and we have to look to those universal themes to say, this requires just as much of a education based, offerings in your salon, whatever it's going to be for you, that's going to be right for your salon, products, as all of those other things. If we start to think about like how high maintenance being a blonde is, and then we think about how high maintenance having thinning hair is, there's not that much difference. Now, maybe we can say it's not easy to lose your hair. I'm saying this from a woman who's losing her hair, and I have to kind of show people because, my hair looks really, really good, but, I have very, very fine, very, very thinning hair. As you can see, I just do it well. I don't want to lose my hair straight up, but I want to get this conversation started in the salons because women are looking to you amazing hairdresser, for the best advice in the world. So the fourth core concept of big, light, thin hair is that the salon is the best place for them. While I love to go on these Facebook groups because I think it's a lot of really great information, I want to see this conversation being owned once again in the salon, because people do want one-stop shopping, and your client is going to see you more than they see anybody. They'll see you more than they see a doctor, a dermatologist. You get one dermatologist visit a year if people do that. But they'll come to you every 6, 8, every 12 weeks. You get to see them 4 times a year, 6 times, 8 times a year. You see that person more than anybody else sees them, probably outside of their colleagues at work and their family, which gives you a level of honor and responsibility to really own this conversation. So ramping up the conversation, what does it look like? So if you're in a salon right now and you're like, what do I do? What do I do? How do I really, really bring this conversation into my salon? First is understanding who that client is, understanding what that client's pain points are, empathizing what it's like to be that client in the salon. What's it like for that client to walk around with a wet head? What it's like for that client to have been told their whole life that women don't lose their hair? What it's like for that client to sit there, maybe if you use combs on their hair that have like chips or nicks in them, what it's like for that client to not get what they want to get, or because they just don't know what to ask for. So first you have to empathize. And once you empathize, and then you let all of your staff know, you could be alone in the salon or you could have a large staff of people, begin to let your staff know what these real pain points are, what it's like for that client in the salon, and why it's a little bit different from somebody else. Turning up the conversation looks like picking some lines in your salon, bringing something in the salon that you've tried on yourself, that you've tried on your clients, that you've tried on maybe some friends, so you can collect a little data about what is going to happen once a client uses a hair loss product. Turning up the conversation means letting your clients know that 1 in 3, 1 in 4 women deal with hair loss, that half of your clients are seeking solutions and answers to the questions, what do I do? What do I use? So in these Facebook groups and all of these private online groups I'm a part of, like, the number one question is, what do I use? And then the second thing that I notice all the time happening is that everybody's asking for advice on hair products. Has anybody tried this? Has anybody tried that? Which of course always makes me think hairdressers are not doing enough of a job or providing anything in the salon. So if you are interested in bringing in products in your salon, I would definitely recommend that you have somebody test it out first. Because the worst thing that we can do as hairstylists is just say things like, when a client says, what is it going to do? And what should I expect to happen? And we just constantly say things like, oh, it smells good, or it's really, really awesome. We want to be able to have some facts and some data and help a client understand what to expect in the first 3 months of using a product, and then in the first 6 months of using a product, then in the first year of using a product. And we want to be able to help them really understand what that's going to look like. Turning up the conversation means that you have materials out, that maybe there are some pamphlets you have from hair product companies, that you maybe begin to find out and do some research about trichology, about the study of the hair and the scalp, and that you're able to provide information to your clients. Turning up the conversations means you begin to offer maybe added on services that are going to help address the hair. What I like to say in my salon when we're working with added on services and when we're working with this clientele is I coach my stylists to talk about what we can see, which is the dead hair, and what we can't see, which is the scalp. So we start that conversation all the time because it seems to kind of click with clients when I'll say things like makeup versus skincare. Like, think of your scalp as makeup and your hair. Think of your scalp as skincare and your hair as makeup. That seems to really like click with clients when I'm like, we've got to address the scalp. We've got to address the dead hair. And we've got to start to make this hair better. So sometimes like my segue into turning up the conversation is just helping a client understand how the dead hair can improve once we introduce and bring new products into their life and coach them through using them, not abandoning these products. The other way to turn up the conversation in your salon is to create a referral base. Is when your clients talk to you about thinning hair and they tell you that they just want to keep the hair that they have on their head, you can say with backbone, you can ask them all sorts of questions. The first one is, well, have you ever seen a doctor? Have you seen a dermatologist? And we want to coach our clients into making these good decisions with themselves so they then can also separate fact from fiction, and those clients can begin to create a long-term plan for themselves. You always want to have a referral base in your salon for somebody in your local community that sells wigs, that sells toppers. There are amazing and beautiful hair pieces out there today. And when you have a client that comes to see you and that you get them into like an alternative hair solution, that client is just like your forever friend. When you really transform, you go beyond just making a recommendation and you go into transforming somebody's life from the inside out, that is the most loyal person in your life that you will ever have. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about like how that really leads to dollars and transforming your salon. So turning up the conversation. First, it's changing the narrative, empathizing with the client, creating a normalizing attitude in your salon. I'll refer to the unapologetic mode. We are unapologetic at Wink. We out this conversation and we're like, hey, it's not that big of a deal, but we have things that can help you. We have resources. We have one, I'm always a chair away that somebody can kind of look at me and be like, well, what did Christine do with her hair? Somebody in the salon. It is great to have somebody in the salon that's using these products on themselves that can actually give firsthand testimonials and saying, well, this is really how long it took for my hair to get better, and this is what I had to do. Understanding that women with hair loss are probably spending a ton of time on the internet reading, researching on these groups, going to all of these websites constantly outside of your salon. So we really want to bring it back to your salon. We want to bring it back to the dollars in your salon. We want to bring it back to creating like long-term clients that are going to buy retail from you, that are going to send business to you. And so when you begin to start the conversation of thinning hair in the salon and really ramp up that conversation, things change. Things really, really change. And one of the ways that it changes is that your clients wind up literally being like an army of people out there recommending your salon to so many people, because the conversation of thinning hair happens so much outside of the salon. It happens at lunch with friends. It happens at, when girlfriends get together and they talk about like aging. It happens all the time. That is going on all the time when women are sharing with each other, like, what's changing about me, or what I don't like about me, or do you know somebody like this, or da-da-da. It's all happening. So when they find out that your salon or is unapologetic about it, and your salon is really like owning this conversation, the ripple effects that happen out there in the world and the amount of referrals that you wind up getting, literally it's exponential. People are so excited to talk about your salon being a haven and a resource for women with thinning hair out there, like all the time. Because one of the things I see behind the chair is that people will talk to our stylist and myself about a friend. Oh, my mother has really thinning hair, or my friend has really thinning hair. I want to do something for that people. People are always like wanting to be extra generous and get involved in everybody's business, and thinning hair is definitely something. But we want to be careful out there, because one of the things I hated as I was searching and researching on my own and trying to deal with this in all the ways, I hated being diagnosed on the street by people who didn't know anything about the hair business. And they were like, well, my friend is taking hair, skin, and nails, or my friend did this. And I was thinking, I'm a hairdresser. I own a salon. Like, this needs to come from licensed, trusted, professional hairdressers, people in the hair industry. I don't need to be diagnosed, but we need those people. Oh, here comes a cat. We need those people advocating for your salon out there, knowing that your salon is completely unapologetic about this conversation, and that that pushed my cat away, and that your salon is doing something about it. So turning up the conversation, you've got things to offer. You've got products to offer. I want to just take a little pivot here for a second and talk about finding vendors that are going to help give you all of this amazing product knowledge and information. So one of the questions that was asked is like, how do I find products to use? So I really believe that this whole industry, this entire hair loss industry, is really championing the success of every person that is carrying their products, whether it be just topical solutions. When I say topical, I mean shampoos, conditioners, root powders, root sprays, products that will help make the hair better, take the best care of the hair you have on your head. These companies that sell toppers, everybody is advocating and wants you to be successful. So if you're out there thinking, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to invest my dollars, call these companies, ask them, can I try your product? Can I try it on myself? Will you send me a free sample or enough, like a month's supply of this hair loss shampoo and conditioner that I can use, or these sprays or whatever it is? Ask them if you can try it and test it out on yourself, or pick one of your clients that is really, really fine and thinning hair and test it out on that client. And then you can get some really, really good data. That company, they're championing you. I tell you, they really, really are. They all have incredible education. So if you're out there looking for the best hairline to bring in for your salon, my biggest recommendation is work with a company that is going to really create a relationship with you, that you like what they're doing, you like all the generous information they're giving away on their Instagram page or their Facebook page, or they have a great newsletter, you like the classes that they're offering out there in the community. Your sales rep and your vendor are willing to come and talk to you and help you succeed with this line. There are tons of hair products out there, and you will always wind up having to find the best one for your salon with the best price point and everything. But you really want to look at this as like a relationship building situation where, that was my cat, where you really lean on them and rely on them for this incredible amount of data and information that you're going to want. There's lots of hair product companies out there that are just not going to give that to you. And you have to do the work of just finding out which is going to be the best one. In my salon, the product companies that we work with, we do scalp events where we do these little like microscope scalp events for our clients. Clients love it. Anything I want, I'm like, show me data on this, or do you have this kind of research to help us talk more about this, make this easier and more digestible for our clients? Yes is always the answer, because they really want us to be a success, because those companies know all too well how touchy this subject is, and how much client confusion there is. Everybody's in on the hair loss game right now. This whole industry is poised to just ramp up. I mean, it could just be one of the next biggest, money-making pieces of the industry, which is why, again, it is our honor and responsibility to advocate for these clients and to make sure that we are giving the best knowledge, and we're getting hooked up with companies that have been doing research, that spend the money on research, that give away lots of great, generous information to you, and then are really interested in helping you be a success. So that's what I would do if I was beginning my search right now. And again, I've already tried many hair loss products, over the years. I've tried things on myself that, didn't work. I tried things that did work. I tried things that stunk. I tried things that were sticky. I tried things that made my hair really, really dry. I've done it all. I mean, I've been at this for like 15 years, because as I was saying, like I have the inherited gene for hair loss, but I also had 2 babies and I've also had traumatic events in my life. So my hair's taken, a beating on all sorts of different fronts. So turn up the conversation. Remember, you are a problem solver. Your clients are coming to you with problems. You are just solving problems. So it's not swarmy. People are like, oh, we have all this weird hangups in the salon when it comes to selling hair products. We don't have to. Our clients are asking us to solve problems. The problems that they're presenting to us are frizz, limp hair, dryness, fragile hair. They want their hair to be better. They don't have the words. A client isn't like, my cuticle is shot, or I want to strengthen my hair shaft. A client's not going to say that. All they're going to say to you is, they're going to tell you about the symptoms that their hair is presenting. They're going to be like, oh, well, my hair is frizzy or it's difficult to style. It's not what it used to be. Once again, decoding the language of thinning hair. So when you turn up the conversation, you hear these things that a client says. The client's like, my hair's super frizzy. Okay, so maybe and you can tell, like you can see their scalp a little bit, or their hair's a little limp, but they're not exactly talking to you about hair loss. They're saying things like, I just don't get any body. I just wish I could have more volume up here. Or I don't know, my hair's just like frizzy. It's just not the same. Boom. That's a door opener. That's a door opener for you to talk about everything you know about hair loss. That's a door opener for you to say, this symptom that you're presenting to me might actually have more to do with your hair changing and more hair loss. I get all into more detail about like how to really broach that conversation. So you're not just like out of the blue, like hair loss, and then you don't know what to say when they push on you a little bit further. I talk more about that in the e-course. And so you can really kind of break it down about how when you hear these little things the client says, that's the door opener. Some clients are going to be totally happy and just fine using topical treatments. They're going to be happy, and that's going to be the problem that you're going to solve. You're going to help them stabilize their condition. You're going to help them improve the current hair they have in their head. Again, take the best care of the hair you have in your head, core concept. Some clients are going to want hair. They're going to want hair. Those clients, we need great referrals for companies that sell toppers and wigs and things like that. Some clients are going to be very happy. I'm that client. Like, I'm not ready to wear an alternative hair solution yet, but I want to take the best care of the hair I have on my head. So I'm a perfect example of somebody who has to have a level of maintenance and a routine and a macro plan, a long-term plan when it comes to my hair loss, which is why in the salon, it's really good to have that first person expert if you can have that. Okay. So turn up that conversation. You're a teacher. You're a problem solver. That's all you're doing at the end of the day. And you're coaching your client to thinking with the end in mind. Okay? We're like, okay, this is what I will say to my clients. I'll be like, all right, what do you want your hair to look like in a year? And like I mentioned earlier, my clients will be like, I just want my hair to look good. I just want my hair, I don't want to lose any more hair. Boom, I can work with that. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to recommend for you. What do you want your hair to look like in 5 years? This is what I'm going to recommend to you. So we have to be thinking like that all the time. And some of those clients, like 0 to 6 months, 0 to 1 year, 0 to 3 years, we're going to get by just fine with things like topical treatments. And some of those clients, they just need to know that, like, there are amazing alternative hair solutions out there that look beautiful and look real. So when I was at I went through, really significant hair loss when I had my second child. And this was, my son just turned 10. So 10 years ago, I was like messing around with wigs for a second. I just was at a loss. I was struggling. I was, a new mom. So I was just not like making the best decisions. And I was looking within my salon 10 years ago, like nobody was helping me. And, I was just at a complete loss. And so I messed around, I bought a couple wigs for myself. And let me tell you something about the wigs. They'll freak other people out before you. It's other people that have a harder time with it sometimes than the woman dealing with her own thinning hair. I was actually like owning it, having fun with it. I cracked up. I was like, it's my Latina pop star wig. I was cracking up and having a good time. So as we change the narrative of thinning hair and create more of a normal environment for women with thinning hair, we do along the way bring all of the other people, those people. So these women that, in my salon that start wearing alternative hair solutions. We don't sell them in my salon. That's just not what we're great at. We're really great at the other stuff, starting the conversation and topical treatments and scalp events and stuff like that. But the women who adopted an alternative hair solution because maybe they were more advanced hair loss or simply they just wanted more hair, I will tell you something, and this is the God's honest truth. They are so happy. They are free. They are relieved. They say things to me like, why didn't I find this so long ago? We refer people out in my community to places in my city that sell hair toppers or wigs. We refer people out. And once they adopt it and they embody it and they go for it, oh my God. There was like, why didn't I do this sooner? So again, because we need to begin to open the door and help coach our clients to all that. So who is this person? They're everybody. They're pretty much almost everybody. Turn up that conversation. Get it going in your salon. How do you do it? You do it with understanding the pain points that this client is bringing in, having products and solutions available with companies that give you great product knowledge that you can begin to take their words and their knowledge and just siphon it through you. Whatever they say, you say, and then start trying it in the salon. Full ownership, unapologetic behavior, creating normalcy, turning a negative into a positive, helping these women live big, amazing lives because you know what you're talking about. And you're not just being like, nothing's wrong with you. Once again, we don't want our clients to feel crazy. We want them to have happy, amazing lives. Be a problem solver and be a teacher. Be generous with your education behind the chair because at the end of the day, that's what they're paying for. And the third thing today is trust to dollars. So we're sort of taking like a little sociological profile of what this client's like. We've got to do that to kind of get inside this person's head, and then we've got to get into the heads of what's happening all around us in the industry. When you begin to take ownership over this conversation, I'm telling you, you're going to transform your salon. You are going to transform your salon in ways that are going to help you create a market leader. You as a market leader in your community, you're going to build an amazing referral base. You're going to have more business in your salon. You're going to be able to compete more competitively in the retail environment and not waste any more time blaming Amazon for it, because you're going to go back to education. You're going to make your clients' lives better, happier, more joyful, and that's just going to bring a whole different level of element. And then more importantly, your stylist and yourself, you guys are going to become more of experts in your professional licensure. You are going to really, really embody the educational component. So trust to dollars. People want to know, what are your clients paying for? And this is something that I have to talk about in my salon a lot. I like to remind my staff what our clients are paying for. So clients might not come in your chair and sit down in your chair and say, hey, I'm paying you for change. I'm paying you for education. I'm paying you hairdresser, to think of me, not just when I'm in your chair, but to think of me when I'm not in your chair. That's what they're paying for. They're paying for you to change them. Maybe not right at that current service, but they're paying for it. They want to know that you're going to be thinking about oh, Christine, maybe I should try this on her next time. They want to know that you're always thinking about them. That when you go out at night and you see somebody who has a really cool haircut, who has similar hair to that client, that you're taking that client along with I gotta get my cat out of here. That you're taking that client along with you all the time when they're in your chair and when they're outside of your chair, and they pay you well and they tip you for that kind of relationship. You're always thinking about them. You're always thinking about how you can help to make their hair better. They are paying you to be on the journey of hair with them and the journey of life. We get really excited about our clients' lives. We're like, oh, my client, she just had a baby. Or my client, oh, she just got this great job. We take all this ownership about what our clients are doing out there in the world. And we're like, oh, I've known that client for so long. I've been doing her hair for 20 years. Now I've seen her children go to college, blah, 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 blah. We take full ownership over this. We have to be on the journey of hair because in a 20-year time period, hair is going to change. So they're paying you to navigate that journey of hair as they adapt to new realities, whether that reality is like, oh, my hair went curly, or I had chemo and I had to deal with my hair after chemo, or my hair just changed, or whatever it is, my hair is just not like what it used to be. They're paying for you to do that. So there's so much nestled in that transaction that we have to remember all the time. I am always reminding my clients, we are not perfect in my salon, as far as this conversation. I am constantly out there championing these clients because this is so important to me, and reminding my staff all the time what they're paying for. The value is way more than you just making them look good. We talk a lot in my salon about the extrinsic world and the intrinsic world and how we have to make them collide. And that we have to make our clients love how you do their hair. Technically, love what you do to their hair. Take the best care of the hair you have on your head, using things that create, a gentle, harmonious environment, make their hair look better than ever. But you're also working on stuff on the inside too with that client. You're listening, you're connecting, you're helping them through hard times. They're looking at themselves in the mirror. It's very, very vulnerable for women, it's hard. How many clients do we have that sit down in the salon and they're just immediately start criticizing themselves? And your job is always behind them, telling them how great they are, how great they look, or how beautiful they are all the time. So we need to move beyond this nonstop criticism that our clients have and help them take the best care of the hair they have on their head and live big, amazing lives through the experiences they have with you. So when you look at transforming your salon and you look at creating a more profitable platform for yourself, I promise you that education leads to dollars. The more you're able to have backbone and knowledge about the products that you have in your salon, the more money you'll be able to bring in. Because at the end of the day, it's our brains and our hands and our hearts that sell hair products. And it's the body of knowledge that we come with. That's what's going to sell these things that you offer in your salon. And there's a lot that you can offer to your clients in the way of helping take the best care of the hair they have on their head, and helping them stabilize hair loss, and helping them try alternative hair solutions. There's things that are very affordable. Part of what you're doing is keeping that business in the salon. So let's say you have a client who buys some product from you. In my salon, I always explain how much things are going to cost. I break that down by the day. So I'll have a client who says to me, I just want to keep the hair I have on my head. I'll be like, what do you want your hair to look like in a year? And just want to take the best care of it. I'm like, okay, here are all the products I recommend. And here is when we're going to talk about it. We are not even going to talk about your hair or judge these hair products until about 6 months from now. So I want you to make the investment, and this is what we're going to do. And I'm going to check in with you through the whole thing, and I'm gonna hold your hand through the process. But when we are looking at dealing with this client with thinning hair and trust to dollars, they're trusting that's the relationship. They're trusting you to make the best decisions for their hair. So I'll break it down. I'll be like, okay, so let's say 6 months worth of hair products is $500. Break it down by the day. Sometimes I make little analogies like, well, you spend more with a bartender, than you would spend on this. But this is actually going to get you somewhere. It's important that we help a client understand that this is not a micro thing. You don't use one hair product when it comes to hair loss that's going to change the hair. This is a macro journey. So a lot of times clients, hairstylists don't have enough of that body of knowledge or that to really guide them into what a big picture looks like, and why once we begin to try something, we got to give it a good try. After you tried something for an extended period of time with your client, and at that point, you'll know if they're ready for an alternative hair solution. In the e-course, we talk more about the science of hair loss. This chapter is probably the biggest one in the e-course, but it's something that's digestible. It's not too over the head scientific. You'll learn things that are reversible, things that are irreversible, and you'll learn a little bit more how to kind of catch a whiff or really decode and listen to when a client's telling you something's going on with your life, because that will also help you make the best recommendations. In my salon, I'll say there's just not one recipe for every client, or different client, different story. I'm still retailing a lot of similar things to my clients. We are doing 25% in our retail to service dollars. My salon retails very, very, very high. And in my salon, we don't say things like, oh, Amazon is taking all of our business away, or I'm just going to throw in the towel, or I'm not going to buy. If you came to my salon, you would see we have 4 product lines. We carry at least sometimes 6 to 12 SKUs of all those product lines, but this is part of ownership of the conversation. That kind of came after we really begin to dive in and say, this is what we do. Well, we want to teach you how to take the best care of the hair you have on your head. So we also create loyalty programs, because a client might push back because there's to them, all of a sudden, for some strange reason, something that's suffering, they have suffering about, they might be a little reticent to go ahead and just purchase, $100 worth of hair products, or $50, depending on what market you're in or whatnot. But the thing about it, unless your client's getting a topper or they're using a wig and they've got to invest the money. We've got to coach them through, this is an investment, and this is the only way to do it. We've got to get in there and buy it, because if they don't get it from you, they're gonna get it from one of these other hair loss sites, or one of those Facebook groups for women with thinning hair, or something like that. But we want them to get the products from you. We want you to be retailing at a high level and creating programs for long-term success. So we have a frequent buyer card in my salon. We have 2 ways that you can save money in my salon. One, we have this little card called Lucky 13. So you buy 12 full price hair products from us and you get $20 off the 13. And then at the end of the year, we do this little thing called Lucky 365. This is not for everybody, but if our clients buy a $250 gift certificate and use it within a 6-month calendar, use it within the 6 months, they'll get 10% off their hair products all year. We sell a lot of those at the end of the year because clients know that they're going to come back to the salon. They know that they're going to use that money, whether it 1 or 2 visits as they get their hair colored, but then they get 10% off all year long. So that is really, really great, because we came up with that really to keep the retail business in our salon. And also because, like I said, we just want to coach these people to long-term success. There's nothing worse than a client buying something, using it once, and then just abandoning it. This is not a candle. You're going to be burn it and then never burn it again. We have got to coach our stylists and our clients to use it. Use it or lose it. We got to use these products, because if we're looking at how do you want your hair to look like in a year? How do you want your hair to look like in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Part of the solution is topical solutions. So in transforming your salon Find a vendor who's going to have a relationship with you, who's going to give you product knowledge. You're going to move beyond saying things like, I like it, it's really good. People think it's awesome, to saying, here are the symptoms that your hair is presenting, and here's how we're going to fix it. And here's what your hair can look like in 6 months, and here's what your hair can look like in a year. Here's what your hair can look like in 3 years. I've been at this for a long time now, and my hair looks so much better than it did 3 years ago. It took me about 3 years, really, to really see my hair not look so stringy on the ends. And that went on for a while, you know. I still lose hair. And like I said, I'm just not ready to just adapt a topper or anything like that yet. But when I am, I know where to go, because there's amazing companies out there. So another great way to begin to have trusted dollars is to go and get further education for yourself, whether it's something like my e-course or it's all these amazing seminars on the road that a lot of these companies do, whether it's, you know, hair shows. The hair shows are changing right now. So in the hair shows, they're beginning to like include the segment of hair loss. And I actually have been a speaker at the Hair Plus Summit, which is a modern salon event. And that's a really great event to find out some information. Again, the conversations are happening and we want to be a part of it. So our unapologetic approach and coaching our clients to the big picture is going to really help us take something that's like a touchy subject and that we have all these issues about, and turn it into something that turns a negative into a positive, creates an environment where we're normalizing something. We want to help women not feel crazy. We want women to know that there are solutions, and that things like toppers and wigs are not just for old people. They are for young people. These things are gorgeous. These things can help women. I'm telling you, you wouldn't even know. The women that you really know are people that are really hip to it. Like when you're a woman with hair loss, you're pretty hip to maybe who's wearing hair or who has visibly thinning hair, but the rest of the world doesn't know and they don't care. And so we just have to keep reminding our clients like that, like nobody's going to know, and we are here to help you have more joy, have more meaning in your life. We're here to help you take the best care of the hair you have on your head. We're here to give you referrals, everything that we know, so you can be thriving and not suffering, because that's just the worst. You know, there are going to be clients that you can't help, straight up. Can't help them. And you know what? It's okay to learn how to say, this is out of my scope. And understand that maybe that some of these hair loss clients are not going to be your cup of tea, straight up. Some of these women have been suffering for so long and they have like a level of self-loathing that can be hard. You know, I only can really relate this to the curly hair world because my salon really owned the curly hair conversation in my city. I'm a Diva Advanced Stylist. I was going to Diva Sean Salon when I was a young girl, when I was in New York. I've had a relationship with Diva Curl since I was like 18 years old. I'm 46 now. And so we owned it. We dominated the curly hair market. We launched a gazillion businesses, you know, out of my salon about curly hair. And a lot of times women with curly hair would come into the salon and say things like, I've never found a hairdresser that was any good, or everybody's messed up my hair. And so automatically, you know, like, okay, like, I don't know how this is going to go. This is going to go either way. I'm either going to nail it and they're going to soften up and relax, or this person's just an asshole. The same thing goes with thinning hair. You're going to get that. And a lot of it is because that person just doesn't know where to see themselves in the world. They look out in the world and we don't have enough conversation. We don't have enough normalizing about it. They're still suffering. They feel ugly. They feel all these things. So part of our job, again, is to flip that script, is to switch it, turn a negative into a positive. But I just want to give you permission that if you get those clients in your chair that you're just like, it's okay. You cannot be, you know, for everyone. You want to have the clients in your chair that like want to learn from you and want to listen to you and want to take your advice, and not people that are going to like nickel and dime you about this whole hair loss thing. Because I'm going to be honest, hair loss isn't cheap. You got to make the investments. It doesn't mean you have to buy the laser cap and all the fancy vitamins and all this stuff all at once, but you got to start somewhere. and you got to spend some money. So don't make yourself crazy trying to transform those clients that are just going to like get really cheap on you or nickel and dime you, or the naysayers. Some of those people you have to be like, thank you, next, and save all of the best of yourself for the 80% of the people that are so hungry for you, that want to learn from you, their most favorite person in the world. They want to know everything from you. They want to know like what you learned at these hair shows. They want to know what you're doing out there. They want to know how you're thinking about them. They want to know. They're so lit up when you're like, I went to this hair show. I thought about you. They're so lit up by that. So you want to keep that going. So part of this is you're advocating too, and it's a transformation. And that's what we want to see happen. We want to see these people transform, and we want to see them educated. Do you guys have any further questions? There's been a couple questions that came in that I want to be able to ask, but are there any questions that you have right now? I'm going to have to put this little chat button on. Hold on. Okay. There we go. All right. All right. So where do I find products? Okay. So like I said, I think a great way to find products, honestly, is to, like, this is what I would do if I was starting. Go to the Hair Plus Summit website. That's the Modern Salon Hair Plus Summit. And look at the magazine and the all of the vendors that participated in that event. Any vendors that are participating in these hair loss events, like American Hair Loss Council, Hair Plus, Modern Salon Hair Plus Summit, are going to be pretty solid, amazing vendors. So look at the hair product companies that are there. Call them and ask them if you can have some samples of products. Ask them if you can try some things, and ask them what kind of product knowledge that they have. Find out if they're willing to come into your salon and do classes in your salon. And you can ask whatever you want. I mean, these companies really want you to have success. It does stink. I've been there where we tried things in my salon and they didn't go so well. And some of it was because it was like a lack of leadership. And then some of it was because it just didn't adapt well to our salon. So you want to find the right thing that's going to work in your salon, but only because you know your client well. Our clientele, we kill it with the hair products. We tried a couple other things. They weren't so great for us, but those things I have to absolutely have referral partners out for. So the next question is what is normal? So what is normal is that, okay, so this is a little bit of a tough question, because what is normal, what is not normal? Let's talk about what is not normal. If you have a client that's coming into the salon right now who is telling you that they're losing gobs of hair, like that they're in the shower and that ton of hair is falling out, that's not normal. There is something called miniaturization, and that's basically when our hair shrinks in diameter. It's like a telltale sign of hair loss, of aging hair loss. And when our hair miniaturizes, we talked a little bit about the symptoms of hair loss. That's frizz, difficult to style. You can maybe begin to see the scalp a little bit more right down here. A lot of women will confuse this little area that gets a little thin with like, oh, I have a cowlick there, and they're always trying to do this and cover up their scalp. That's kind of normal stuff. That's a aging. I have androgenic alopecia, an inherited gene to hair loss. It's normal for women who have some traumatic events in their life, or childbirth, to wind up popping into a little temporary hair loss. We talk in the hair loss world about reversible and irreversible hair loss. And so I kind of have an irreversible hair loss, but I seek to take the best care of the hair I have on my head. I'm stabilizing my hair loss. Women who have reversible hair loss are women that maybe get put on anesthesia, or they take a medication and all of a sudden like they lose their hair. Sometimes those women that are dealing with some kind of like reversible hair loss will have an initial like major shedding, and you'll hear that in the salon. They'll come to the salon and they'll be like, oh my God, I had a glob of hair. Or they'll take a picture. I'll get pictures of big hairballs on people's showers or in their hands, and they're like, this is what came out. So in that situation, That's not totally normal. We have to kind of do a little investigation and find out what the trigger was. So I'll ask some questions like, well, what happened 6 weeks ago? Was anything going on 6 weeks ago? Or did anything happen 8 weeks ago? It's not about what's happening in that moment that the hair is shedding out and coming out in clumps. It's usually about what happened in the past. And we can look at that 3-month window. In that 3-month window, you're going to know what happened. We're going to find what that trigger was. I had a client the other day. Sorry. I had a client the other day who took the bar exam. You know, she was like, I was crash coursing, I was studying, I wasn't taking care of myself. And then boom, you know, hair loss happened. So that's not normal. What is normal is for women to have some kind of level of hair loss. Not everybody gets it, but let me tell you what, just remember this. Everybody's got their thing. Some of your clients are going to go through hair loss. And that is something we have to deal with on the outside world, the extrinsic. But a lot of people are on antidepressants, and a lot of people are suffering traumatically on the inside with all sorts of things going on, but you know, they might have a decent or a better head of hair. So, you know, it's all relative at the end of the day. That there's anything we know in the hair business is that like everybody's got their shit. So that said, the last question, and I want to thank you guys all for these questions, is how do I get volume for my clients? Well, number one is we have to teach our clients like how to take good care of the hair they have on their head. So if you have a client who is dealing with symptoms of hair loss, one of the symptoms might be a lack of volume. First, we got to make that hair better. We got to make that hair better. And like I said, that's not a one bottle solution. So if a client wants volume, we can either look to topical treatments and coach them through like, we got to use this. We got to make your hair better. And once your hair gets better, we're going to have a better canvas to work with. Or teach them styling tips and tricks. Make sure that they're using products that are going to give them the kind of bulk and the volume, or I like to say like east-west. Or if a client really wants volume and they just can't get it with the hair that they have on their head, toppers are amazing. Oh my God. If they made more curly hair toppers, I might have to go for one. I mean, you can really get your clients on some of these toppers that they get this really, and if you don't know what a topper is usually is just like a small little piece, a hair piece that gets clipped into the top and clipped into the sides. And usually in the salon, we have to integrate those into people's hair. What I mean by that is we just cut them because they'll come in one piece of hair. Toppers can be synthetic hair, they can be human hair. That's all going to depend on the cost. And that's a whole separate webinar. There's amazing companies out there that are going to give you tons of knowledge about this. But when a client really wants volume and they're just not getting it, but they want hair, that's a great thing. They don't have to wear it all the time. They can keep it at home. They, you know, a lot of these can be blown out and curled with a curling iron. Unbelievable. People wouldn't even know. And that's one quick way that they can get volume on a Saturday night, or if they have something that they're doing. So there's all sorts of things that you can do, whether it's just topical solutions, whether it's just styling, or whether it's like dipping into the alternative hair world. So my e-course, I want to tell you about that because it is 10 modules. And we're really going to dig in deeper to this conversation. So we talked a lot about like how to empathize with this client, but we're going to dig deeper in like, how do you talk to this client? How do you build your referral base? How do you do it? How do you take ownership over this and really make some money and really make your clients happy? Become a market leader. It's got videos, it's got original thoughts, and it has me advocating and questions. I'm a resource for you all the time. I'm available through Instagram, through Facebook. I am constantly available. I want people to be so lit up, and I want us to change the world together and make the world a better place. There are so many amazing people in the hair loss industry that are really wanting the same thing. So if you're interested in the e-course, it's $297 for the first 50 people that signed up, and you can easily go to biglifethinhair.com/courses. So you can go to my website, and I actually have a little bit of a freebie on my website. If you have not signed up, it's just a little bit of a downloadable freebie, which is basically like starting the conversation of thinning hair. And here you go. It says like what clients will say and little things you can say just to kind of get that conversation popping. And I want your clients just to live these big, beautiful, amazing lives. I think that the e-course is really a great start. You don't have to become a trichologist. You don't have to get any crazy advanced degrees. I tried to take the best of everything that I knew from the bottom and bring it to the top. I'm so excited about this topic. I want to see our hair salons take full ownership of it and unapologetically own this in a way that brings this conversation back to the salons where it belongs. It does not belong on the internet as a little outlier. So follow my Instagram page, Big Life Thin Hair. Connect with me on Facebook. My salon is Wink Asheville, Wink in Asheville, North Carolina. Our website's ilovewink.com. My e-course is launching on the 20th, which is next Monday. I'll actually be in San Francisco talking about hair loss, which I think by now those of you who are on this webinar know I could probably talk about this for hours. I can talk about hair loss for days and for hours because I just believe that this is a chance for us to change the paradigm, to turn a negative into a positive, and to help all these women who run the world have more joy and meaning in their lives. So follow all those things. If you have any questions, I'm just an email away. Any further questions that you might have? I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys all participating in this e-course, and I hope that you learned something and that you feel like you understand this client a little bit more, and that you know that there are so many resources and positive solutions out there for you. And I want you guys to go live big, amazing lives, and please check in to biglifethinhair.com courses page, find out more about this amazing e-course that I'm offering up for $297 for the first 50 participants, and then it goes to $497. It has been basically like my life's work, and I'm so excited to continue this journey. So that's going to be, oh my God, thank you, Chris. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I love you all. Call me. If you're ever in Asheville, North Carolina, we're definitely going to go out and get a drink, and we're going to eat, and we're going to talk about how we're going to change this industry. So get after it. Bye.